Welcome to the Inspiration for an Empowered Life podcast, sponsored by the Image Designers. They will help you look prosperous, feel prosperous, and be prosperous. Now, here's your host, the Image Master, Holly Porter.
Welcome, everyone, to our podcast. I'm Holly, and today I have a guest named Aimee Bucher. How are you?
Doing great, Holly. How are you?
I am great, thank you. I'm excited that you're joining us, and you are also one of our authors in the book, The 40-40 Rules, Wisdom from 40 Women Over 40. I tease everyone that I've talked to and say, I gave away your secret. Now everybody knows you're over 40.
You know what? I am a firm believer in owning my age. I am 45, and I am proud of that fact. I don't ever want anyone to look at me and go, wow, she looks awful for her age. So, nope. I am very pleased for people to know that I'm over 40.
Oh, that's awesome. I know. I like that. I like people to know not necessarily my age, but I like them to know that I have 8 grandkids. It's like, yeah, baby. We have a lot of kids. So when you have a lot of kids, you're going to have a lot of grandkids more than likely. So
that's right.
Getting started. So we'll have a ton. So you're a Chief Marketing Technologist, right?
Yes. Yes, I am the Chief Marketing Technologist for an inbound marketing agency in New Bremen, Ohio. We serve clients all over the country. We've actually had some global clients as well. And what I do, most people don't know what a Chief Marketing Technologist is. What that is, essentially, with inbound marketing, it's all digital. So websites, social media, email, text marketing, anything that you can do on an electronic device, we do. We do marketing for those things. As the marketing technologist, what I get to do is take strategy, take what our clients' goals are, figure out the strategies to achieve those goals, and then what's the technology that we have to use to make those strategies work. So there's like automated marketing platforms. So MailChimp would be a form of technology. Facebook, another form of technology. There are lots of different kinds and types of technology, thousands these days, that we can use in marketing.
So you work with big corporations or individuals?
We have a huge range of clients. So we work with anything from small mom and pop type businesses to global corporations. We have a large group of senior living clients. So independent living, assisted living, that sort of thing. But it's
like
a whole
individuals
range.
or companies of those?
Both.
Oh, all right. Okay, so they can hire you on a big scale or a small scale.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, some clients are 6-figure clients, and other clients are much smaller. And we do strategy and technology and marketing for all of them.
So do you work with like speakers, authors, coaches too? And do that with them or more?
We've had a few. And in the business that I ran before I was with the company I'm with now, I built websites for speakers.
Oh, okay. So you do that as well?
I used to. So I started off before. So I'm in the job I'm in now. I was headhunted for this company 4.5 years ago. But before that, I was running my own web design business.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to ask you an interesting question. Answer it how you want.
Okay.
If you could get up in the morning and like have your perfect day, what would that really look like for you?
Oh, my perfect day. My perfect day would be one where I get to use my strongest gifts and skills, where I get to make the lives of the people around me better by using the things that I can do best. That really would define my perfect day. And of course, then there would also need to be ocean and sand in there somewhere.
Oh yeah. All that. You can have in the sand, watch the beach. So what do you feel like your skills are that you're like, I'm an expert? Like, what do you feel like that is? What?
I always hate to claim expert status at anything because there's always more to learn. But anything with digital marketing, I'm very strong in. I'm very strong in strategic thinking, understanding problems and figuring out how to get from point A to point Z and breaking it down into all of those steps. I'm very strong right in that upfront planning stage of just about anything. I have on my desk at work, I have a little firefighter minion that they gave me because I put out a lot of fires. That's my chief role. If a problem crops up, I'm the one that can typically solve it. I can figure out the resources we need and what we have to do to solve the problem and keep things moving.
So in the disc, you're a high C.
So on the disc, funny enough, I am an off the chart C, which is crazy. It doesn't make any sense. I'm a super high D and a super high I. My S is in the middle, and my C for some reason just falls off the bottom of the chart. But I have huge attention to details. It's never made sense to me. I don't know why.
You've learned it, I guess, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Did you take that test as thinking like as a child, like how you would react as a child? Did they tell you to do that?
I took it as if I'm at work. But that's an interesting way to think about it, taking it as a child. And I've gone through some massive transitions in my personal life since I last took the disc. So I'm curious to take it again because my Myers-Briggs type has changed. And so I'm curious what my disc results are now too.
Well, and I think depending on our situations and who we live with and who we're married to and, you know, what ages, but or maybe go on and do the color code one, but take it as a child. Like think about yourself about it as an 8-year-old answering those questions, because that tends to be more your true self.
Interesting.
So the other behavior is probably learned behavior that you've learned. And if you're liking it, you know, but maybe there's aspects about it that you're not liking. And so, you know what I mean? That's why you're like, oh, well, maybe the fun part of me, which is your eye.
Yeah. That's an interesting idea. I'll have to do that.
Yeah, I do personality profiling. So I love, so that's why I said, oh, wait, what are you? But a S has details too.
Yeah.
I remember the disc. I just threw that one out just because I thought you'd probably taken that. But interesting. So do you live by the water?
I do not, sadly. I wish I did. Someday. That's a goal for someday.
Somebody gave me an idea once that they said you have to be at the ocean at least once a month, is what they told me. And I'm like, I live in Utah. Hello.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult.
7 hours away, you know? But the other suggestion, okay, so then you think, okay, well, how do I adapt? How do I make some options for that? So I go to a lake, maybe, or go to somewhere that has a waterfall, or mimic that, you know, put those sounds on, you know, and pretend, or do a meditation with those sounds. Or anyway, I thought it was interesting that we can always kind of bring in what we need, even if it's not like actuality there, you know.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. We have a little creek nearby, so I'll take my boys down to the creek and we'll play in the water there, and have plans to get a hot tub. So that'll be my ocean. And
yeah. I mean, I just think we have to adapt, right? That's what we learn to do. But that's interesting that because I can tell you're way into details. I love that. I'm so not. When you're talking, I'm like going, I'm like, here's my idea. Okay, do it. But I'm the idea girl. Like I come up with stuff, I connect people, and then I bow out. It's like, there we go. Yeah. Anyway, that's fun. Well, so family, you have kids?
I have 4 boys.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, ages 9 to 18. So the oldest is going to graduate this year, and the youngest is in 3rd grade.
How fun.
It's a zoo.
So you're one of the authors that I just met, you know, so we don't have that history, because a lot of them I've been able to talk to, you know, that we have things I already know in common, but you're one that I didn't know as well. So I'm excited that you're on here, and I'm happy to find out more about you. So it's exciting. Now the book, you know, you were all answering in a question and answer format. And so it didn't get the readers to get to know the authors as well. I mean, 100-word bio that's on there isn't enough, you know?
Not much.
And so I came up with the idea that, this will be great to have the authors as guests on my podcast, because then we can find out more about them and what makes them tick. And, you know, and there are a few coaches in the book, you know, there's a big variety. Like, I mean, we have such a diverse group of women. I'm really excited to be working with all of them. So yeah, it's a great book. And at the time we're recording this, you know, the book's not launched yet. So people will be listening to it after it already has been. So we're talking about it as it's not been done because it's not been done. Everybody's in the process right now.
Some of us might not have all of our stuff written yet.
Some of us shouldn't tattle. I'm kidding. I have plenty to do myself. So no, that is totally fine. But I'm just excited that I've got to talk to all of the authors, and I've seen a lot of the work already because it's coming in, because it's getting close to the deadline. So it's been really exciting to do this. And we put 2 podcasts a week on just so I can get all these authors on there. There are a few I think that will choose not to do one because there's several retired women, in their 70s in the book. And I'm excited about that because can you imagine how much more wisdom they have on us?
Oh, absolutely.
I think about another 30 years of wisdom or 20 years of wisdom. Man, I'm going to be like Albert Einstein. He's the smart one, right?
Yeah. You're on track. You're good.
Right? Like, sometimes I listen to what I say later and I'm like, what was I thinking? It's all good. I can laugh at myself. So
that's good. You know what? That is an important life skill right there.
Yeah.
You can't laugh at yourself. You're kind of sunk.
I know. That's true. And I can do that well, unfortunately, sometimes. But what else would you like to chat about? Like, what else would you like the listeners to know? Is there something you want to put out there? Something you want to teach? Something you want to, bring business in for? Like, what are your thoughts?
Well, let's talk a little bit about, I'd like to share a little bit of my own story my story is one of transitions and of reinvention. And I think it's, I've been told that it's inspiring to others. So I would like to share some of that.
Absolutely.
So when I was young, I played piano and flute and I was very good. And so I majored in music, did my undergrad and my bachelor's degree and my master's degree in music education, taught music at the college level as well as at the high school level. And then quit, and it was the only thing I knew and I loved it dearly. And then I quit when my oldest son was born, so 18 years ago. I stopped teaching music and stayed home to raise him. And then the next one came, and then the next one came. And we moved around a lot for my husband's job at the time. And at one point we moved back to Lima, where I am now. And I was asked to teach, to write music curriculum for a new online school. Online schools were this new thing in 2004. And they needed people to write curriculum because teaching online is very different than teaching in a brick and mortar building.
Oh, yeah.
And so I did that. So I got back into the working world and was wrote the curriculum. They liked it. So they asked me to teach. My teaching certificate had expired. I had quit teaching 6 years prior and my certificate expired. So I had to do some courses to renew my license and get back into that game. And one of the courses that I took was web design for musicians through Berkeley School. And look at that, my phone rang. It should have not rung during that. So I did this online, it was this little 6-week course, web design for musicians. My thinking was I could teach my students how to build a little website as a project instead of like creating a PowerPoint or something. Well, my students weren't anywhere close to that level of being able to do it. But I fell in love with the process of web design in that little 6-week class. And I kept learning and teaching myself more and started building websites for fun. While I'm still home with the babies, I would have a baby nursing here in one arm while I'm typing code with the other hand. I learned to type HTML really well one-handed, depending on which side they were on.
I love it.
It was like my thing that I could do with my brain. Because when you stay home, it's wonderful. You know, children are great, babies are awesome, but your brain starts to atrophy if you don't have something else you're doing. And some women it doesn't. Some women are fine. Not me. I needed to do something with my brain. I wrote a lot of poetry. I was composing music. I was building websites and holding my babies. But after a while, I discovered people would pay me to build websites. I'm like, well, hey, there we go. So I started a little business and it was just me. And over time, I developed a reputation. I didn't really do any marketing. I just took, they say if you start a business, you'll get 10% of the market just because you exist. And that's what I got. I got the 10% of the market that just because I existed, and it was plenty. for where I was at and what I was doing. But people started seeking me out, and got to the point where I was hiring some subcontractors. I hired an admin. I was building and growing, working out of the sunroom in the back of my house. And then some things fell apart in different areas of my life, and I partially shut the business down to do, of all things, children's ministry at my church. It was a role that needed filled. I had the skills, I had the passion, so I did that, and I started doing communications for the church as well, and worked there for a while. And then kind of put the web design stuff a little bit on the back burner, some still going. And then I was headhunted for the company that I'm at now, because they needed a web designer. I was the number 2 employee there. There was the owner, and then a graphic designer, and then me as a web designer. Now we're at, I don't know, 21 or 22 people. We've grown immensely in the last 4 years. And I've moved through the ranks, from being the web designer, then I was the senior analyst, and now the chief marketing technologist. But every step of the way, I've reinvented myself. I've discovered new skills. I've discovered things like, who knew, when I was in college, back in the 90s, the early 90s, web design wasn't a thing. The internet existed, but no one was out actively building websites. And so to think that what I discovered I was passionate about wasn't even available, when I was going to school. And so now in the next 10 years, what new things will be available that don't exist now? So many things, the Internet of Things and virtual reality and all these things are coming to life right now. And what comes after that? And to me, that's very exciting. The world of technology just grows and grows and grows. Yeah.
I want to see that, because I've had this conversation in the last few days with people about all the information. It seems like everybody's just copying everybody. We don't seem like we have all this original stuff right now. Like, I'm ready for some new stuff, don't break the wheel if it's not broke, or whatever.
Right.
But it's like, I didn't say that right, but you know what I meant.
Well, we're at a place right now, we have so much information available to us. We are bombarded with information every day as a culture. We get it on our phones, we get it on our computer. There's just this constant, it's like a fire hose.
Right.
And in my company, one of the things we do is we produce content for our clients to support their marketing. We do it based on the sales funnel, top of funnel content, middle funnel content, that sort of thing. But we have to be careful because there's so much content out there. So we don't want to add to that white noise. The struggle now is to create things that are really relevant, create information that's really relevant for people, that makes a difference, that answers the questions that they're trying to get answered, beyond just looking at funny cat videos.
Yeah, because I'm one of those real ADHD people, but if you don't grab me quick, I'm out of there. You know what I mean? I have to have it super fast, and so I just feel like, there's so much information. I like that, how you said that, the white noise. That's so. What's one thing? We got to wrap up, sadly, because I love all this conversation. We'll have to do it maybe in a few months. We talked about maybe doing another one. So what's something that you could leave the listeners with? Do you have something inspirational, something about us that you haven't already shared? I know that was like a fast forward right there.
I would say the big thing for me, what's become kind of my driving, has become my driving mantra in the last year or so is, you've only got today.
Yeah.
Really. Tomorrow isn't guaranteed, not any aspect of it. And yesterday's gone. You have today. And what are you going to do today that's going to make your life amazing, that's going to make a difference in the world around you, that's going to, help fuel your passion and drive whatever it is you're bringing to the world. And for every one of us, that's something different. But what is it that you're doing today? Because when you're miserable, when you're stuck, when you're unhappy, when you feel like you're just not doing what you're supposed to be doing, that's your life. Right now, exactly this moment, that's your life. And that's all you have.
Yeah, I love that. And I always wake up every morning and think, who can I impact, or who could I inspire today? I love that, because I'm with you. Well, gosh. Okay. So if somebody wanted to get a hold of you, what would be the best way? We will post a link.
Probably the best way, if you just Google my name, if you spell it correctly, you'll find all of my social profiles. But LinkedIn is probably the best way to get a hold of me. So it's just linkedin.com/IN/Aimee Bucher.
And how do you spell your name? Smell.
So it's Aimee. It's the French version. And then Bucher is Bucher.
Okay, yeah, because I know it's a little bit different. So
Yep.
To make sure they get it, and then we'll post the link. And exciting. So yeah, I'm excited for our book and coming out and learning more about you. So thanks for joining us today.
Excellent. Thank you very much for having me, Holly. I appreciate it.
Have a great rest of the day. Bye, everybody.
Thanks. You too.
Thank you for listening to the Inspiration for an Empowered Life podcast, sponsored by the Image Designers. They will help you look prosperous, feel prosperous, and be prosperous. You can learn more about them at theimagedesigners.com or email Holly at hollyporter.com.